got a little business out of the way. Oh, I'm good. Happy Saturday night, everybody. Wow, we have a special night tonight. I am incredibly honored to have our upcoming guest come in. So while we're getting ready, I want you to, you know what to do to get that out to everybody. We can't say the word anymore. Hi, yes, hi. Come in. Hi, Jenny. What's up, Brandy? I see you in here. So, yeah, let's get some folks in here and get fired up. Excuse me, my paper blew off the table. I was like, where did my paper go? Hi. What's up, Lucy J? It's good to see you in the house. You guys, we have such a special show tonight. I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am. Yes, vote for me. They're already saying vote for me. If you don't know, I am up for a Cheer Choice Award. You can vote for me once a day at cheerchoiceawards.com. We are in Live Fest, so while I'm live in the next 2 hours, all of the gift points that you send, they up that. No, wait. Yeah. No, it's double. I'm trying to remember what. Yes, it's double. It's double. It's double. So know that that's going toward a good cause. I don't know if we're going to make it. I think the problem is not being able to compete with the people that battle, because coins is points, and so that's hard to. They should have, like, I feel like it should be categorized, right? Thank you, Shanna. Thank you. So, yeah, today's live goal is 10 fest cheers. In case you want to throw it, it counts as twice the points, which helps me try to keep up with all the big folks on the TikTok. So, you guys know what is happening tonight. Oh, my goodness. Who in here has seen the movie The Wolf of Wall Street, starring Leonardo DiCaprio? If you have seen that, let me know. Also, let me know where you're coming in from, what you're doing this weekend, what you're doing tonight. Tonight is Saturday, November the 23rd, 2024. Thank you. Bees watched it. Oh, yes. Boss Lady's seen it. Oh, yeah. Hey, Kansas. Amber has seen it. Missouri. Bridget's in the bed. West Virginia. Christmas decorating. Okay, so super bad news. I found out we are not making probably even Christmas in the new house. So I have to go for the first time without putting up a Christmas tree. So I'm really dealing with that internally. I always put up a tree. It helps with spirits. Dr. Nadine is in here. Oh, yes. Dr. Nadine Macaluso is in the house, everybody. So welcome on in. We are talking tonight with an author and ex-wife of the former Wolf of Wall Street. Hello. Give me just a second to fix our panel here so I can see you better.
Yeah, am I on now?
Yes, give me just a second, and let's see, switch. So what you need to do on your account, if you'll just click it at the top there, it'll say like a video camera, and you can click it to undo the video camera, so it'll show your face.
I can't see it. I can't see my glasses.
Let me join my own panel so I can show you. If you can see me, I can kind of show you what it looks like, okay?
Yeah.
Something up here.
Something up there.
You see the video camera up there?
No. No.
Okay, I'm going to request. Let me approve myself so I can show you what this looks like.
Okay.
So, uh-oh,
Honey,
I forgot to sorry about that. I had to mute my own account. So when you click on this button right here, there's
Yeah.
going to be that little camera right there icon. When you click that little camera icon up in there, it should turn your camera on.
Okay. Now it's on. Okay. Do you see me?
No, are you using an iPhone?
Hello.
Awesome!
How are
Yay!
you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's okay.
We made it. Now
We
let me
did.
disconnect myself. It is so good to see you, Dr. Nadine. Is that okay to call you that, or do you prefer Dr. Macaluso?
Oh no, you know what? You could just call me Dr. Nay.
Dr. Nay.
That's what all my patients.
Tell her you get it set up.
Hold on one sec. We're just getting it set up because
You want that?
yeah, how's that? Is that good?
That's perfect.
Great.
Oh, I just love your sign, and you look beautiful.
Yeah, so that's why you could call me Dr. Nay, because that's what
Okay.
all my patients call me.
Oh, well, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. It means the world to me that you entrust me with your time to help you tell your story and promote your book.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. This is way past my bedtime, so
Oh, it's mine too, actually. But what the great thing about Saturday nights is that TikTok is promoting this directly as a part of its podcast on live promotion. And so that's why I felt it important for you to come in here tonight so you get the most exposure. TikTok is promoting this directly to this link right now. So everybody, please say hello to Dr. Nay in the comments. Hi. We have 14,000 likes and 185 souls in the room. You guys know what to do to keep on. We can't say the word now, but they on the screen to get the little hearts up to get the folks in here. And that's how we get people in here. So welcome, welcome. So I want to introduce it to everybody, Dr. Nay. She is a therapist with a deeply personal understanding of trauma bonds and cycles of abuse. And she has written a book to guide readers on the journey of understanding, recognizing, and healing from these harmful relationships. She shares not only her expertise, but on her own experience as the whole world has become aware of because of the movie Wolf on Wall Street. She's going to talk about her own experiences having survived a traumatic relationship herself.
yeah.
So the first thing I wanted to bring up, and the first thing that I connected with you on, is that we were both raised by single mothers.
Yes, yes. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, yeah, that's a really important thing.
Yeah. You were raised in Brooklyn. And when you became of age, like me, I had to go work at the grocery store back before they had scanners, honey. You had to type in the it's $3 and you hit the, And so a little bit different. You went into modeling because you're absolutely gorgeous. And that led you to this party where you met Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street.
Correct.
Now, after some time of dating, you were married.
Correct.
And shortly after, things started to fall apart.
Yes, I would say even before we got married.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you continued in the relationship, and after, I mean, we've all seen the movie. I don't have to tell you what happened. We all know what happened. It was this crazy time where you were going through this marriage and emotions of abuse, and there was some. We have to say rugs on here. We can't say the actual word because they'll flag us. And so he went through some issues that way, and you talked about the time that he grabbed your daughter and was running through the house and was going to leave with her, and so all of these things, once you finally separated, you were able to go on and become a doctor and use your expertise to write this wonderful book.
Yes.
It's an amazing, amazing book, and I have to say, I can't imagine how many people in your life are so proud of you.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, they are. They are. They are. And, as much as people are proud of me, it's also really wonderful to get messages from women all over the world who have read the book and who have said, thank you so much for writing this book because I don't feel crazy anymore. And I feel heard and validated, and a lot of them ran like hell and left their trauma bonds.
I have to tell you, my mother left my father when I was 8 years old, and I remember the day very well. It was the best day of my life. I was just so glad to get out of there. And so when I saw the title of your book, I said, that's what we done that day. We ran like hell. And my mom never looked back, and she made it work. She worked several jobs, and we made it through, and we toughed it out together.
Yeah. My mom left my dad when I was 6 and my brother was 2. And I remember she said to us something very important. She said, you know what, we're going to be a family with or without him. And we were. And it was
amazing.
I grew up in a very peaceful home, I think, because there was no fighting, there was no yelling, and it was a home filled with love. So it was actually lovely.
That's awesome. So tell us about this wonderful book. It's called, and I'm going to pin it for you guys so that you can purchase it if you want to while we are talking about it. So give me just a moment to find it here in my TikTok shop, and I will add that and pin that for you guys. There you go. So you'll be able to look at the book and read the description while we talk about it. The book, let me fix my mirror so everybody can see it. This is called Run Like Hell by Dr. Nadine Macaluso. It's a therapist's guide to recognizing, escaping, and healing from trauma bonds. It is I just connected with so many different parts of it, and I just have a few questions if you wouldn't mind about it.
I look forward to it. Yes, please ask away.
So we've heard a little bit about your story, but what actually motivated you to write the book?
Yeah, so, when I was 22 years old, right, I met my ex, the Wolf of Wall Street, and I was in the quintessential trauma bond. Now, I didn't know that back then, right, because we weren't talking back then about trauma bonds and narcissists and narcissistic abuse and love bombing, but those were all the things that I experienced. Mm-hmm. And so as a young girl, I was very confused. I put myself right into therapy because I was like, there's no way I could handle this guy and this life. I just knew that. And so I was in therapy the whole time that I was married to him. And as it depicts in the movie, it was a very crazy, extreme life, as you say, with drugs and abuse and all of that sort of stuff. And so I did leave him. At 31 years old. I always say I took my kids and my curtains because I left without anything. I didn't take any money. And I did leave him and I moved to Los Angeles. And then at 39, I went back to school to be a therapist because I knew that therapy had saved my life and I wanted to help other people. While I was going to school, my ex wrote a book while he was in jail. And then that book got made into a major motion picture, right? The Wolf of Wall Street. So that was all happening together. And then when I was in my practice, I saw all these smart, kind, beautiful women in trauma bonds. They were getting abused, they were being gaslit, they were getting betrayed, they were getting lied to, they were getting controlled. And I said, Houston, we have a problem. And so I went back to the research and I wrote my book. And that's like a quick synopsis of how I got there.
Right. That's amazing. So you've mentioned several times the word trauma bond. Can you elaborate on the concept of a trauma bond and how does it differ from a typical unhealthy relationship?
Sure. So a trauma bond is a toxic, dysfunctional relationship between two emotionally attached people. And the way it differs from a regular relationship is that it starts out very similarly. Two people meet, they fall in love. But what happens in a trauma bond is one of the partners is a perpetrator of abuse or a pathological person, and they want power and control over their lover. And so over time, what happens is that in a trauma bond, this person starts out as Romeo, and loving and warm and generous and kind. But then over time, their mask falls, and I say they become like Dirty John, and they start to betray and lie and be controlling and abusive. And so then the partner that doesn't know that this is happening is like, what's happening? I thought I was just falling in love. And that the pathological partner is nice and cruel and nice and cruel. So it's very confusing. And then the victim gets bonded and then she's trapped in a trauma bond.
Your book emphasizes the importance of understanding both the personality of the abuser and the survivor.
Yes.
Why is this crucial for breaking free and healing?
Because, for a few reasons, is that there's a lot of reasons that people think that people enter trauma bonds. Oh, she has a bad picker, or she's helpless, or she's codependent. And really, it's very important for the woman to know her personality, because there are certain personality traits like agreeableness and conscientiousness that make a person perfect prey for a pathological partner. And so I wanted to educate the women about their personalities, to know their personalities, to know if they are the person that can get preyed on very easily. Mm-hmm. I wanted to explain the pathological partner, right? So that we know what to look for when this charming, amazing con man comes towards us. And another thing too is that we always say, why does she stay? Instead of asking, why does he do that? Right? And so I wanted to really take the stigma away from the victim. Because
that's powerful.
Anybody can fall for a con man.
That's powerful. I know you know what case I'm thinking of in my mind as we talk about that specific term, because I just got the goosey woosies thinking about that term. That is very powerfully put. Wow. You dedicated an entire chapter to what your mother never told you. Yes. What are some of the crucial lessons women need to learn about love and relationships that often go unsaid?
Well, first of all, I think we've all been fed these fairy tales of Cinderella and all the Disney princesses, and that someday your prince is going to come and rescue you and save you. And I don't know how true that is. I think that really two equals need to go into a partnership. And I think also we've been taught, or at least I was taught, to trust everybody, just to give blind trust to people. And I think it's really important to understand that trust has to be earned. Somebody has to earn your trust. You just can't give it to them. And that unfortunately, there are some not nice people in the world. And so we need to be very aware of that.
In your book, you tell us of several real life examples of women who have experienced trauma bonds. Can you share one story that particularly resonated with you and explain why it's important to include these personal narratives? Why resonate with the people on such a personal level and connection?
Yeah, all of the stories in my book are real, right? But I've changed the names and mixed up all the characters, and they all resonate so much. But I know there's one story in there of the younger girl that's in the trauma bond who is with this person that she thinks is this fantastic lover, and she falls madly in love with him. But as their relationship unfolds, I think she discovers that he had sex with like 25 other women while they were together, and she had no idea because it was so tricky and so manipulative, and there was so much gaslighting. And that's a true story. And I want to warn women about in my book, you learn all the tricks of gaslighting and mind manipulation. And there's just so many, twinning and cognitive dissonance. There's just so many things that you can learn in the book that can really protect you. So that doesn't have to happen. And if it did happen, because it does happen to a lot of people, there's so much information on how to heal.
Yes. You mentioned post-traumatic growth.
Yes.
Can you explain this concept and how it applies to the survivors of trauma bonds?
Yeah. So when I found that research, post-traumatic growth, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I experienced it, right? But then I learned there was a name for it. And that means that after a relational trauma, because that's what a trauma bond is, you can grow from it. And actually the research shows that people specifically who experience relational trauma of this type, right, in a trauma bond, can grow, can go on to have better lives, can really understand themselves more. Their spirituality can deepen, their relationships can deepen. They learn about themselves more because hard things bring us to our knees. And so we get curious about ourselves, and they can actually become a much better version of themselves than they were before the relationship.
I'm just relating to my mother, and you're absolutely right about that. She went on to have a great career in the hospital and made all sorts of new friends. And we, our world just kind of opened up from this little bubble of always gaslighting, always, my father, may he rest in peace. But, all of these things now as an adult, I look back on and say, wow, that's connecting with your terms. I can see that now as an adult, but at the moment, as a child, for me, just getting away from that negative and toxic situation was just an uplifter for my childhood.
Yeah, and I love the way you said that. Your whole world opened up.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when you're in a trauma bond, because the victim feels so much fear, and then the perpetrator can really make you feel insecure, and often they isolate the victim too, right? And a lot of times when you're in a trauma bond, you don't realize there's a life on the other side of it. But like you say so beautifully, the whole world opened up.
Yes. It's an amazing thing. In the chapter Go Live, you leave the readers with a message of hope and empowerment. What is the most important message that you want everyone to take away from the book, Run Like Hell?
The thing is that, when you're in a trauma bond and you thought that this person was going to be your soulmate and you were going to go live happily ever after with them, and then not only does that not happen, but you end up getting very hurt and traumatized by them, it can really make you feel hopeless and make you give up on love. But that doesn't have to be the case, because I'm with my current husband for over 20 years. And so that you can become a better version of yourself and you can find love again.
Yes, I love that. I've been married to my husband for 30 years. We've been together for 32. You and I both were raised in the 70s. And so the 70s was this wild, crazy time. Yes, of course. And of course, we can't forget the 80s. We love the 80s. Yeah, lots of hairspray, lots of teasing. And a time before social media too, where, you had to go to the library if you wanted to look up something and learn about a term like trauma bond or narcissism. And so, especially for folks like my mom, I was raised in Appalachia, Kentucky. And so we didn't really have, she didn't have the wherewithal to, she didn't have access to knowledge. Does that make sense? Or she was always working, or always. And so now we're in a more powerful time where we have things like TikTok and the book face. We have to say it backward here. We get in trouble. You have to be very careful on here. And so I think that it's just an amazing thing to be able to get your story and your word and your book out to the world.
Yeah, and I think you bring up an important point in that, like I had mentioned too, like there wasn't this education, there weren't these terms. I think women felt so isolated and alone when they were going through something like this. Now we have it. And that's one of the reasons I wrote my book, was because, as you mentioned, I have my PhD, but what good does all that knowledge do in the university or just in my brain, right? Only see, how many women a day in my practice. And so I really wanted to bring all of that information to everybody so everyone can benefit.
That's amazing. You emphasize in the book that the last straw phase is often the catalyst for women finally leaving a trauma bond. I in fact remember a statistic saying it takes an average of 8 times for a woman to leave. Could you elaborate on what typically occurs during this last straw phase and what empowers women to finally break free?
Yeah, the last straw, because when you're in a trauma bond, they can gaslight you so many times. They can lie to you so many times. They can cheat on you. They can control you. You can be abused so many times. And then you keep going back because they're like, it'll never happen again. We love you. But then it keeps happening. And then there's that one moment where something inside of you changes. And it's very different for many people. Some people could be loss of joy. Some people it could be fear for their children. It could be, maybe you got a job and you got confidence outside the home, so you feel more confident. But there's always a moment where you go, no more. And something happens inside and like a switch changes. And so what I always say, because for every person it's different, once you decide to leave, don't ever let them see you coming.
I love it. Yeah. That's powerful. Yeah. You advocate for the importance of finding a therapist who specializes in trauma and abuse. Why is specialized care so crucial for survivors of trauma bonds, and what should women look for when they go to seek professional help?
Yeah, well, because when you've been in a trauma bond, you have experienced trauma. I mean, it is relational trauma when somebody's cruel to you.
Right.
And so it's very important. And we know so much more again about trauma trauma. And there are certain practices and skills that a trauma-informed therapist will have that will help you heal through this. And because unfortunately what happens is that a lot of therapists that don't understand about trauma bonds, they blame the victim. And when you've already when you've already felt so helpless, and when your perpetrator has been blaming you for everything wrong in the relationship, even though it's not your fault, to go to a therapist who doesn't fully understand it and who says to you, why didn't you leave? Or what do you think you did to provoke that? Which we're never, ever responsible for anybody else's abuse, ever. That it can be re-traumatizing. Now, with that being said, though, I do want to offer this to everybody. When I got my license, it takes 3,000 hours to become a licensed clinician, okay? And I did it for $5 an hour. So if you can't afford a therapist, and I know therapy can be expensive, there are therapists everywhere across the country that are training and need their hours. So don't let that stop you. Please, go and get help, because the helpers are out there.
That's some amazing advice. I know a lot of times money is the issue when they go to seek help. And that is, I didn't realize that. That's a really great tip. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Your book really conveys a sense of urgency and the need for immediate action. But you also emphasize the importance of patience, self-compassion, and all of those things that you need during the healing process. How do you reconcile these seemingly contrasting messages?
Yeah, of course, it's like everything in life, right? It's a paradox. I mean, yes, you do want to get out and you do want to get help, but self-compassion, the research shows, which simply means that you speak to yourself as you would a best friend. You're so stupid. Why did you fall for that? You should have known better. Anybody and everybody falls for these people. Don't beat yourself up. And self-compassion is such an important piece of it, because what it means is you say to yourself, I'm suffering. People in the world suffer. Speak to yourself as you would a good friend. And you'd be surprised how healing, self-compassion, patience, because healing isn't like you're healed, right? It's one step forward, two step back, one step forward. So you have to be patient with yourself.
Oh, I love that. You have mentioned that you've spent moments questioning how you endured such a traumatic first marriage.
Yes.
As a wounded healer, you believe your suffering was intended to serve this larger purpose. Could you elaborate on this belief and how it shaped you as a therapist and author?
Yeah, so, I wish I could say that I had some big grand scheme. I knew I was going to end up in this moment in this chair. I didn't. No, I was a young girl. I fell madly in love, and I had all the hopes of having a beautiful, safe life, but that didn't happen. And as you mentioned, what I endured was a lot. And I did go back to school to become a therapist. And as hard as that time was, and I didn't love it that, a movie got made exploiting my trauma, the most difficult time in my life. Yet, as I sit here today, and this is going to sound crazy to say it, I'm grateful it happened, because you and I wouldn't be having this conversation, and I wouldn't be able to be of service to women everywhere that are dealing with this. And I believe that this is what I'm meant to do. This is why I went through all of that. And so it gives my life just incredible meaning and purpose. And I don't think I have a job. It's my life's work. And
I connect with that because before this, I was an accountant. And while I was very good at that, I didn't feel fulfilled. You know, it's important. Accountancy is important, but I feel like this is my life's work.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I feel like this is what I'm meant to do.
Yes.
And it took me a long time to find it. But now that I have found it, how important is it to have a platform so that you can come talk about your book, so that women who are going through a separation or a trauma bond situation can come on here and talk to one another and form community and the support that they need to get away from their situation. So I connect on that, and I say it all the time. No matter what you've been through in your life, you can take a little piece of experience from that and put it together to form what you're supposed to be doing now, and you'll know why you went through that. Because oftentimes I ask, well, God, why did I go to school all them years, and just to figure out that I have to talk here on this mic that I love so much. It's my best friend now. And he said, because you needed to go through those things to be able to do this.
That's right. That's right. And I remember often, when I would go down to my office and I'd be like, oh, that's why I went through that. Oh, that's why I went through that. Because the person that I was going to be in front of had experienced that. And not to say that, of course, my education, I got a master's and a PhD, not to say that that didn't matter, but I think experience is the greatest teacher. And I think you bring up a good point in that, we can change our careers, right? I was a model, then I was in the garment business, then I became a therapist. I didn't go back to school till I was 39. So I offer that to young women everywhere. Like, I'm a late bloomer,
I got my bachelor's in accountancy when I was 36.
Yeah, so we have so much in common like that. And when I wrote my first book at 54 and I became a doctor at 45. So there's a lot of time where, and I think we have it backwards. I don't think we know what we're doing, Enough life to know, like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is what gives my life meaning and purpose. And again, then it doesn't even feel like a job.
No, it doesn't. I was telling my husband just the other day, I said, can you believe this? That I get to get up every day and talk to powerful women who inspire me to be a better person. And I'm honored with that task. I just can't even believe it. Yeah. So I say never, ever give up on your dreams. I don't care how old you are. You will, if you want to get there, don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't.
No. And writing this book, I mean, this was one of the hardest things I've ever done, but it was worth it.
Yeah. There is a foreword by Christine Hammond that mentions that Run Like Hell is the guidance women need to break free from toxic relationships. Can you share one key takeaway that you hope readers gain from this book?
I hope that it's hard to say one thing, but I'll say that abuse is never the fault of the victim. Mm. It is never your fault that somebody's abusive or cruel or controlling towards you. It is your fault. There's nothing that you have done. They would be like that without you, and they'll be like that when you leave. So please don't ever take that on. And I have to say the other piece, of course, that you will get better and life does go on. And you think it doesn't, but as you mentioned before, when you leave this sort of very controlling situation, a whole world opens up.
It's amazing. Your book concludes with this call to action, encouraging the readers to become advocates for ending trauma bonds. And I want to know what you think some of the ways women can challenge the cultured norms that contribute to these types of abusive relationships?
I think a very simple way is for women to own their voice. You know, I think so often we're told, don't trust that little voice inside. Don't speak your truth. Don't be too loud. Don't shine too bright, you know, and to own your authenticity and talk even when your voice shakes. That to speak your truth, it's okay to own your voice. And that doesn't mean everybody's going to listen to you and you're going to change everybody. But, and also for women to be supportive of other women. Really important. And if you see, you know, abuse going on or something not being right, to say something about it, not in a way that puts yourself in danger, of course, but to just not witness it and ignore it.
And there's no demographic limitation here. From my mom in the Appalachian Mountains to a beautiful model in New York, these trauma, marriages, narcissists, gaslighting relationships happen on all different levels, anywhere, all over the world.
All over the world. I get messages from women all over the world. I've worked with celebrities in Hollywood, to stay-at-home moms, to judges, to lawyers, to teachers, to secretaries, to, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, I know it's past your bedtime, and I wanted to thank you so much for being on tonight's show. I want everybody to know how important this book is. We have talked about the Micah Miller case here for the last 6 months, and we have listened to Micah's story in ways that she was not ever able to tell it before. And so a lot of the women in here tonight, we have over 200 folks in here right now, and a lot of them are domestic violence survivors, advocates, and just supporters of this movement of, you know, and it can be men too. I don't want to isolate that to just women. Men can be also in trauma bond situations.
Correct. Yes, yes. Yes, I did a lot of deep dive on Micah, and I did videos about her in her honor so that her voice doesn't go unheard. Yeah, very tragic case, and another prime example of that going on, unfortunately, abuse and control. And she tried to leave, as you mentioned, you know, women try to leave up to 8 times, and she tried to leave so many times.
I went to Myrtle Beach twice to cover this case. I attended several protests at the church, and not realizing that I would have this opportunity to speak with you and to connect to a book that so widely supports getting away from that situation, and but not only supports it, but giving you the tools and the knowledge to help support you on your new journey. And I can't tell you, everybody's dropping purple hearts in the comments, which is our symbol for Justice for Micah. And so that's their way of supporting Micah and letting you know how much they support and love you.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, she's exactly why I wrote the book, right? I wish they would have gotten the book into her hands. Because education leads to empowerment. And when you read a book like mine, you don't feel crazy, you don't feel alone. Yeah.
The comments are absolutely lit up with purple hearts right now. It's absolutely amazing at all of the love and the strength and the light that case has brought toward domestic violence and trauma bonding and narcissism, and the things that you kind of we come forward as we put on the show of this is perfect and this is perfect, and we never know what goes on behind closed doors. And so sometimes those women can't speak up, and they need your book. They need a guide to help them silently, you know, like you say, don't let them know you're coming, to give them the power to move on in their life.
That's right. That's why it's available as an audiobook and an ebook, right? And I'll tell women just, you'll remember this from our school days. You put like a paper bag book cover on it so you don't see the title. Because it is very, very important. But yeah, you can get it as an audiobook or an ebook because not everybody can read it in public, and I wish she would have had it.
Dr. Nadine Macaluso, thank you so much for spending your time with us tonight. It means a great deal to us. It means a great deal for the movement of justice for domestic violence survivors everywhere. Again, you guys, I have it pinned, but it's also in the TikTok shop. Her book is called Run Like Hell, A Therapist's Guide to Recognizing, I can't read backwards, escaping and healing from trauma bonds. I'm too old for that, but you guys know there it is. The beautiful, beautiful Dr. Nadine Macaluso. Thank you so much for your time, ma'am.
So much for having me.
I hope you'll come back. I look forward to talking to you in the future.
I will. I would love to. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a blessed night.
Yeah.
Bye. Oh my goodness, you guys. Dr. Nadine Macaluso. She is amazing. How did you guys like that interview? Her book, Run Like Hell. I'm going to open up the panel now. You can come up to the panel and tell me what you think about the interview, and let me know if you're going to grab the book. Did you grab the book? And if you have a domestic violence survivor story, you're welcome to come up to the panel and talk about it. Yes, if you've missed this interview, it will be up on the Big YT. You guys know which one I'm talking about, the Big YT. The whole interview will be up there where you can go back and listen to the answers that she so wonderfully provided. And we were able to share, she was sharing her story. And like I said, my mom, growing up, the demographic doesn't matter. We grew up like way far back, like where you wouldn't even, think to look and say, can I help you? Do you need this knowledge? And she has the knowledge. Elle Cousin said she bought the book and have read a bit of it so far. Thank you, Elle Cousin. And Dr. Nadine Macaluso, what a wonderful, wonderful interview. Thank you so much for that opportunity. Okay, I'm going to open up the panel now. Let's see, who do we have here? I don't think these two people meant to come up here or that they want to. But so if I don't see your request, if I don't approve it, just comment and say, I'm a real person and I really want to talk about this book and talk about some situations, especially with Micah. And you can come on up here. I've got to fix my outline though here. Where's my... There we go. We can go back down to the panel. There we go. Oh, you just bought the book. Awesome. Thank you, Mimi, for buying the book and supporting. I appreciate that. Remember, if you don't mean to come up to the panel, I will let you back down. I will not make you stay. Hi. Hey, can you hear me? Did you mean to come up?
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
No, there's no microphone on my little screen. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I don't see a little microphone in case I need to mute myself.
Go out and come back in. Somebody type it in the comments.
Okay.
Okay. If it didn't work, then you can go down and come back up.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Hello. Good. So I didn't know what we were in for when the doctor came in. And as I was listening, when I was very young, like 12 years old, I had a boyfriend. And this boyfriend lured me into this false sense of I'm the one, you know, the knight in shining armor, and he talked me into doing things with him that no child should ever have to do. He was 2 years older than me.
Oh my God.
And he, at the beginning, was wonderful, and I was infatuated with him. And then towards the end, he would start saying that he's going to kill himself if I ever broke up with him. I walked in on him trying to take a handful of pills. I walked in on him with a knife to his wrists. And like I said, I was 12 years old, and I didn't realize what this was called. You know, I knew it wasn't right. I knew it was kind of like mental illness and being controlled in a way. But now that I know trauma bonding and what it means, it makes so much sense.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Did you tell anybody that was happening when you were 12?
I did not. I was an only child, and I knew that it was wrong, but I didn't want to lose him, and I thought I was in love, you know? But no, I didn't realize that this was, abuse in a way.
I'm so sorry that happened to you and that you went through that, Kelsey.
Well, thanks for listening, but I just wanted to thank you for bringing her on and opening my eyes,
That's the good thing, folks, of having this platform, is to be able to share.
Hi, Juliana.
Oh, I guess I will mute that right there. So sorry about that. Sometimes folks forget they're on live. They're on the panel. But that's so good to have a platform like this. And thank you for sharing your story. And this book, I can tell you, even just resonating some stuff with my mom back at a time where we didn't understand what the terms were or what it meant, is powerful.
Yes, very much so. All right, I'll drop down, but thank you again.
Thank you for coming up. I appreciate you. Oh, thank you, Jen.
I thought you did a great job of interviewing. It was very good questions. I like the idea of having the opportunity to have therapists that are training. It would be so great to have a list of all those opportunities to find those therapists in training. If we could maybe somehow find a list and share that with people, that would be great. I was abused as a very young person. I was being babysat by a male or neighbor, and I didn't realize it until I was going to get married, and all those thoughts came back into my mind of male parts, because I was starting to have a relationship with my husband to be. And I asked my mom about it, and they had gone to court about it. I didn't know any of that was going on. I was probably 5 years old. And it turned out that my dad was actually leaping over the table to kill this person. It was a male babysitter in the judge's quarters. They had to restrain my dad, but it was a big, huge deal in my family. And I didn't realize it until the point where I was going to be married in my late 20s. And I broke down like a baby in a fetal position in my mom's kitchen. And she told me the story. And it's weird how your brain can bury those things. And you not even know it, and so I did go through therapy for that. And then my stepdad abused me. My husband, now ex-husband, abused me. So my ex-husband tried to poison me. I've had some.
God.
Yeah,
What?
I've had some. I write books, so that's actually going into one of my books, my next book, actually under another name. I won't get into that whole story, but I am 65 years old. And at that point, back when all these things were happening, the first one I didn't know about. I was very young. The second one, I ran like hell from my parents' home, which was very perfect title for that book that she's written. And then the one when I was married, I just wanted a family. That's all I wanted. And it didn't work out that way. I did get 2 lovely, wonderful daughters out of it, so that's great. But anyway, long story short, even though you go through a lot of abuse in your life, maybe that might happen to you, I'm here to say that there is hope, there is love, and thank God for her kind of books that can teach you how to get out of the situation. Mm-hmm. There is strength in, close-knit friends. I would say get this book and get yourself out of that situation if you're in it, and seek out some therapy. And I love the idea of that therapy being less expensive, because sometimes you're in that situation and you don't have very much money. So shared more than I wanted to share, but it's been 19 years since I've gotten out of that abusive marriage, and I'm doing great. I have a great, life with my kids. I'm a nurse. That's my full-time job, but then my hobby is writing. So things are great, and God is good, and get yourself out of the situation. In this book, I believe, that she wrote, sounds like it could be a very great, helpful avenue for those who are in the situation. And thank you so much, Steph, for sharing this and having her in for a guest. And I think you did a fantastic job with the interview.
Thank you. I can't even believe she let me interview her, though. I'm like, I'm so like fangirling right now. Like, that's an incredible honor that a doctor lets you interview and pick her mind and talk about her book. To me, it is.
You've proven yourself, and she respects you. So you want to find the truth, and she's a truth seeker herself. Mm-hmm. So yay on you. And you did a great interview. Thank you for bringing that book to the forefront. I'm sure it's going to help a lot of people.
Mm. Yeah. We have a Run Like Hell campaign happening right now. So if you are in this room and you want to share your domestic violence survival story, I'm just going to wink there. You don't have to, you can submit, what we want to do is just use, maybe you write me an email about your story and I'm just reading it, without your name, of course, without your details, of course, but just your survival story, that you want to have featured in future videos about this book. Please email me or send me a message on here. I want to hear about it if you would like to share it.
Yeah, I'll drop down so somebody else can come up, but thank you for letting me share. And it is good. You're right. It is good for people to share because it gets it off their heart, and it actually, people will reach out to them and help them. Let me drop on down so somebody else can get on up. I love you very much.
Thank you. I love you back. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
What's up, Cassandra?
Hey, girl. I know there was plenty of spots, so she didn't have to drop down. But
I know. Everybody. I know we got like 4 open spots. Come on up, or you can stay or hang out or do whatever you want to do. Go to bed. I don't care.
Yeah, you can stay up here with me, so I don't feel alone.
I go to Western North Carolina and work every Saturday, so I'm going to go on to bed.
You can come up and hold my hand, so I don't feel so alone. You can stay here. That's fine.
God bless you. I'll do that. I'll do that for you. Then I'll drop down.
Okay. So I'm not going to go ahead and tell my whole story because I feel like that's something that I might want to do for myself in the future, and I don't want anyone else, like, she has very good intentions, and I miss the podcast or the live in the beginning because it's my 33rd birthday today.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Thank you. So I missed that earlier, which I'm so sad about, and I took a nap earlier so I could be on this live. So
The whole thing will be on the Big YT, so you can go back and watch it.
I know, but I wanted to stay up late on my birthday because I have 3 young kids and I'm an old lady most of the time and I can't stay up late. So, and I wanted to stay up late tonight. So, so I don't know exactly what she talked about, but, I would like to save most of my story for something that I would like to do in the future. And, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be awkward. I'm just trying to gather my thoughts.
You're fine.
So the domestic part is mostly my mother's story. She escaped domestic stuff that I witnessed when I was a very young girl. And I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't want to traumatize people. Because it's very triggering. Knowing myself, hearing other people's story if you're not ready to hear it. But I was also an SA victim in that situation. So thank you everyone for the birthday wishes. I just want to let everyone know that they're not alone, no matter what you've been through, or no matter how old you were. If someone says that you were too young to remember, or there's no way that happened because you were too young, that's not true. You know what happened. So, I'm so glad things have changed recently. And Micah's case, especially when it comes to church stuff and pastoral stuff, I'm so glad that this has brought this to light. But I wish Micah would not have had to sacrifice her life. Not that that was her choice, but she was trying so hard because she was the most free, beautiful spirit that I have seen on the internet in personal experience. But I know she was truly an earth angel trying to help other people, and I wish that weren't the case because she had so much life to live, and I wish that people didn't have to live that life for her. I wish we could see all the cool things that she would have been able to do. So I'm sorry if that was cheesy. I didn't expect to be crying and stuff. So I'm sorry.
No, it takes a lot to share your experience. I keep slipping out of this chair because I got on leggings. If y'all keep looking at me, it's like slip and slide. But
that leather.
Velcro.
It takes a lot to tell your story. It took me, I'll be 48 in January. It took me until I was about 40. I was about 40 when I started actually, what I feel like directly dealing with what happened to me as a child.
Yeah.
Until then, it was just don't think about it, busy with the kids, life is moving, it's over, it happened, so I never dealt with the trauma of it happening. And I'm talking about my own essay from the age of 4 into 8. And that's what I was telling Dr. Nay when we were 8 years old. We got in the car and skedaddled. And that was the best day of my life because I knew that no matter what happened from there, it was going to be a better situation than it had been before.
Right.
I was the same. I was around the same age. So I get that. So when you're that young, people are like, "Oh, you don't remember,"
Yeah,
you
you
know.
do.
But when that kind of thing happens to you at that age, that imprints in your memory.
You know how I know I was 4?
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm
Because it would
curious.
happen after Head Start.
Yes.
Mm,
Uh-huh. Head Start. I remember Head Start. Yes.
So I've always told, said that because and then you start kindergarten,
Right.
there's a difference. Specifically, you know where you are in time
Right.
and space. And so, yes, a 4-year-old remembers.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, they do. And even like, I think I was 3, closer to 4, but I was just about to start to Head Start. But my situation is what got my mother to break away from the abusive relationship, which is not always the case. And
No.
seeing this, I'm very grateful. I have my own issues with that, but I'm very grateful that my mother believed me. I remember seeing therapists and being so scared to say what happened because I was afraid if I said anything that um I would get hurt like my mother did,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So these doctors and alone in the room. So don't ever feel like if you couldn't say it to a therapist or anything like that, that you were too scared that it didn't happen. It wasn't real.
Mhm.
Yeah. She it, we have our own issues, but I'm so glad she did make that decision. And it partially was my grandparents. My grandparents were a big role in my life. So, um, just
I never told my mom. Actually, the first time I told my mom, and I don't know, I look back now at the decision at the time that I decided to tell her, and I don't know why.
yeah,
But I did not tell her until 2020.
Right.
And I have to admit now that part of me told her in 2020 because it was a period of time between which my mother remembered and I knew that she would not soon because she
yeah,
had early onset dementia.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was telling her because I knew that she would be spared
the pain.
the
Right.
pain because she would soon forget. And she did.
That was merciful. Yeah. You needed to get it off your chest, but you knew it wouldn't hurt her.
As a mama,
Yeah.
I know that pain because my oldest is 11, and I know you have a 22 or 23-year-old girl.
22.
I just got a note from my daughter's counselor that she had been thinking of ending your life.
Mm.
I know as a mama, those two things are things you don't want to hear. Is the pain your baby goes through, but
Right.
I think your mama and you as a mama, you know that you would have been able to do something. You would have done anything to make sure that you can take away that pain, but you would help that pain. Oh,
Mm.
Thank God you
I came
found
up here and said I would be telling my story in full, but I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. It's good to get it out.
No,
And it's also good that you recognize that before anything permanent happened.
right.
Be thankful that that happened, that you are now aware and you can work on it with her.
My heart is breaking right now.
It is, yeah. All us mamas, our hearts breaking for you.
Boss mom, that's how old my baby is. So if you have any advice, I truly appreciate it.
How old is this little girl?
She's 11.
Let me do this for TikTok. We are talking about this book. They flagged me for trying to sell the book. We are
Oh,
talking
geez.
about this book, Run Like Hell by Dr. Nadine. It's in, I'm going to unpin it. This is what I don't like about TikTok is they don't want you to, I don't know, succeed sometimes. I am
Weird.
trying to sell this book to help people, but we're going to remove it. If you guys want to find the book, it's in the TikTok shop. You can go find it. I want you guys to go get that because I feel like it can change lives. And Cassandra, I can't tell you how brave this is to come up here and share your story. If I could give you a hug and hold you right now, I certainly would.
Oh, thank you. I just wanna I have a bigger story to tell, so I didn't mean to get up here and start crying, but
You're fine. My daughters were about that age when I went through my divorce, and the best thing I knew to do was to get them in a good friends group, like a good church group
Right.
or Girl Scouts, something where they had something solid that they could go to. Because one of my
Yeah.
daughters, my youngest one, I can't believe I've been saying this on live TV, whatever, TikTok, whatever. One of my daughters, my youngest one, started cutting, and I had to get her like literally out of that school. I removed her from the school to remove her from a bad friend situation. She needs friends her age that are going to be friends of hers for the rest of her life. And I got my girls into Girl Scouts, I got my girls into church groups, and they literally still have these friends to this day, and they're 29 and 33.
Yeah.
Because sometimes a mom can't relate to all of their situations because we're older, but these younger girls or boys or who are their friends are going to be their peer group, and get them in a good peer group that will help them get through this time period in their lives. They're not perfect. They're not going to be perfect little kids, but they need a strong base. And it helped. It helped. My youngest daughter stopped cutting. She started going to this church group. The church was right across the street from the high school I put her in. She's still got friends to this day. And because sometimes we can't do it by ourselves. Parents need help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The day I got that email, I reached out to the therapist because I'm having like I'm all for therapy, and I think that it's not a weakness and that people should
Mm-hmm.
if they are struggling, they should reach out. And I should have reached out sooner probably. I'm trying not to beat myself up about that, but she's 11. She's not super young, so I reached out as soon as I got that email to get her to into therapy because
Right.
I know at that age it is such a transformal age and such a big age, and she's going through things that I think even my younger sister, who is 10 years younger than me, don't know how to cope with. And I'm not going to get into that here because I don't want to air her personal stuff. But it's tough, and I want to say anyone who's going through stuff with younger kids, and they were just your little baby,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden they get into that preteen stuff, and they're big kids. That you're not alone.
Yeah.
So
You're not alone.
yeah,
You know,
they're not alone, and you're not alone.
that's right. I'm thankful you got to know this about her before it went too far. So
Yeah.
just, so get
Yeah.
her involved in sports and musicals, whatever you can to get her
Yeah,
into.
she's a very artistic kid, so she's not a very sportsy kid, which I can relate to. She's very artistically talented.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not just saying that because I'm her mama, but she's in art clubs and stuff like that. So
That's great.
yeah,
You're doing a good job.
I feel so stupid right now. I'm sorry.
No. So I'm just processing because even though my children are grown, they, even as adults, they struggle sometimes. We all do. We're all human. We are all constant learners of life lessons every single day. Don't matter how much you think you know or how old you get, there's always something new to learn. And so even as adults, my heart is broken sometimes when they call me crying that they can't handle something.
Right.
Because when you are a parent, you just want the best for your child. You want them to be happy, healthy,
Right.
have a family, and do life, because we get a short time here on earth. There's lessons to be learned, and I believe that my personal belief that it's not over when you pass away. You take these life lessons with you to develop your soul for whatever thing it has to face next.
Yeah. For sure.
It's overwhelming no matter how old they are, small, big, and that'll always be like that until the day that you go on to the afterlife yourself. And so I completely can feel your pain. I can feel your tears, because my son is 26, and it wasn't that long ago that we were having this same conversation with him about him not being happy in his life, but to the point of where it created major depression.
Is he your oldest?
He is, yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't see it coming from him, because he's a 26-year-old manly man. And so it took a lot for him to come and say, Mom, I'm really struggling with this.
Oh.
And so your babies are always your babies. And so just your love and support, it sounds like amazing. It's an amazing thing that's going to help her get through whatever she's facing.
I sure hope so. And it's so funny that you say that, because no matter how old they get, I will tell her, like, she's like, Mom, I'm not a baby. I'm like, but even though you're my first baby, so everyone says there's a baby of the family, which is the youngest, but my first baby is who made me a mom. And there's just that special connection with your first baby.
Yeah. They'll always be your baby.
Yeah. And every single one of your kids will be. But I will never forget when I had her, and they laid her on me, and her big blue eyes just looked at me, and I was like, that's when you wanted to, like that's what I wanted to know when I was a mom, what it would be like. I'm like, I know that there was nothing I wouldn't do for you when those big blue eyes looked at me.
Oh.
Yeah. And I know I sound stuffy and like a man right now, but I hope that message gets across.
Absolutely.
But the fact that your son could come to you and say that means a lot, because there's a lot of kids out there that don't have that can't say that to their parents.
Right.
And hopefully that's the thing that can save them. So I really hope that he's in a better place, and that makes me hurt for you too. I know you're in the same house as him for now, but.
Yeah, this is his house. And I'm like, but you're so, like, you have this beautiful home, and and I'm just, even as a parent, even though deep down that depression is a disease. And I mean, I look back, not that I was a perfect parent, but you go back and question yourself, like, what am I doing wrong? What did I do? Didn't I, make sure you had, the things you needed, and wasn't I at every event, and wasn't I your biggest cheerleader? And it's hard to deal with the fact that it doesn't have anything to do with you.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah,
And it's a big, I'm learning that it's a big part to not make it about yourself. Like, it's not, what did I do? What didn't I do? You really have to separate that part and just think about them. It's really hard not to beat yourself up in it. I probably will work on that for the rest of my life, but I'm trying to separate that and to focus on what I can do to help them instead of beating myself up. So that's easier said than done. So if anyone can figure that out, let me know.
yeah.
But
Don't beat yourself up too bad. You're doing the best you can, and your love is right there on your sleeve. Your heart's on your sleeve. This world is just tough. This is a really tough world to grow up in, and it's much different than the world that I grew up in.
Yes, me too.
Right?
Yes,
And it makes you depressed. You've got to get out there.
Especially if you're a creative type, which my daughter is. She's very creative.
Right.
And she's ADHD, a little bit on the spectrum, so she and I try to tell her, I'm like, weird people are boring. I mean, people who aren't weird people are boring. Like, no matter who you are, it doesn't matter, like, if you're weird or not. But, like, do you really want to be quote unquote normal? Like, how boring would that be if you didn't have special interests that were a little bit weird,
Cassandra, I've got an offer for you. I'm a writer, as Steph knows, but I didn't tell Steph that I write children's books too, and I'm almost to finish my next children's book. It's about Hemingway, and I'm working with the Hemingway Society and Ernest Hemingway's great-granddaughter, blah, 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 all that stuff. Anyway, my offer to you is have her draw a picture of the Pilar boat. It's Hemingway's boat. It's a little fishing boat, and I'll put it in my book.
Okay. I'll have to think about that. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's going to be published. It'll be out in the spring. So I'm finishing it up. The artwork is done. My brother is doing the artwork, but I'm adding little pieces of art from different people that want to be in it. So anyway, I'll send you my...
She would love that. I'd love if she could be, I'm not trying to be conceited or anything like that, but I'd love for her to be compensated in some way, because I'm not trying to sound boastful, but she is a very good artist. Like, she is been in local art shows in my local town and stuff like that. She's very good, and that is her passion since she's been big enough to color. So I really appreciate that offer, and I think it's an awesome offer, but I also don't want to put her in a situation where she had her artwork and she didn't understand the big aspect of it. You know what I mean?
I understand. I'll send you my email address.
I would love that, and I really appreciated that. Thank you so much.
I'll compensate her, but she'll also get recognized worldwide because it's already been approved for the.
Well, I mean, Hemingway, yeah.
The Hemingway Museum is already approved to sell it. So.
Yeah, I know. I mean, with everything going on, you couldn't understand how I'm protective of her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
From one mama to another.
Hey.
I'm going to step down, y'all, and I don't know how to get my email address to Cassandra. How do I do that? Just through
just message her. Just follow her and send her a message on the TikTok.
All righty. I'm going to
step on
out.
Thank
this
you.
old girl's getting tired.
Thank you for coming up here. I really appreciate you and your time. Thank you
You're
so
welcome,
much.
darling. I'll talk with you later.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
I just wanted to say to Cassandra, I have a 19-year-old, 16-year-old, and a 14-year-old. And it seems like at least one of them is under mental warfare at least once a week. It's a very hard time. And I think there's so much uncertainty, and our kids know so much more than we did when we were kids.
Right.
I know that you mentioned she is ADHD.
Right.
I was going to ask you, does she struggle with the portion where it's a lot of overthinking?
I think so, but I'm also ADHD, so she's very similar to me, which helps because I can kind of understand her thought process. It's very internal. So if she's overthinking, you won't note it. You won't know it because she's very quiet about it.
Yes. Yes. The only thing, and this is just a personal experience thing for me. The overthinking is a living hell. I have it too. And non-stimulant ADHD medicine has been a game changer for me.
Right. I remember you saying that earlier in a different live.
Yes.
I personally I'm not anti-medication at all. So that's part of my therapy of getting her into that. And I am medicated as well, so I totally agree with you.
I would just do research. Do research for yourself.
Oh, I have.
To see the benefits of it. It changed my world. It
changed my world too. Without medication, like I seriously don't know who I would be.
Yes.
And I know how hard the medication can be to your body. And
yes.
That's what scared me initially. So you don't know what's going to happen, but you just got to start slow, unfortunately.
Yes.
But her situation was also situational about a typical group or thing that's going around. So it's not just ADHD.
Yes.
It's a little.
Yes. Well,
it's a kind of thing, and I'm not going to get into it here. So,
what grade is she in?
Fifth.
Oh, yeah. You're getting into the. It's a very hard time. It is a very hard time.
Yeah.
That age going all the way. I felt like things changed for my daughter around 7th, 8th grade.
Yeah.
But when she turned 16, she hit a brick wall. And we were having panic attacks. Now, she did go through, like, she got bronchitis, and it didn't go away. And she got better, and she got worse, and they put her on some steroids, and the steroids attacked her body. And so she had a huge, issue. Like, she couldn't pick anything up. Her muscles wouldn't work. And
Right.
so she's a cheerleader. So it's not down in the middle of competition season, but, that now we're having to do anxiety they've had to put her on like an antidepressant that helps with anxiety.
I know there's a certain antibiotic that I remember I was on that can mess with your joints if you have a UTI. Like when I took it, it had a severe one. They're like, "Don't drink a milk with this." I'm like, "What?" And the doctor looked at me like, "Seriously, don't drink milk with this." I'm like, "What are you talking about? I can't drink milk." Okay. But apparently if you do that with a certain, if you have a really bad one, you can't drink milk with it or it will mess, you can literally snap your, I'm sorry, graphic, snap your Achilles tendon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were.
I'm sorry, Steph, but it's true. So just be aware of that if it's really.
Yeah, no, she's
Do you all, does it crack you up sometimes when you see the commercials for medicines and all the side effects or everything,
I just saw
including
something
death?
about that, like one of those naked cats dancing, like, and these people are just all happy, like, you might get lymphoma and this sort of cancer and some sort of skin disease, but you won't have this. Like,
yes. I just want you to know we see you, we hear you, we're here for you. There is, other than losing a child, I don't think there's anything worse than seeing your kids struggle mentally with something that you're at a loss how to help them. You know, you're trying, but those things are not quick fixes. It takes a while to get the right medications and the right therapy and things like that. And just know, she's in our thoughts and prayers.
right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. And y'all will get through this. I promise you.
Thank
She's
you.
got everything she needs in you to get her through this. And this will be something that you can overcome. And, unfortunately, things like this, I hate to say it, it does make them stronger. It's not the way you want them to get stronger.
Oh, no.
But, there will be positives that you see come out of this. And she really is at an age where they're really, truly, it's like a first round of them finding themselves of who they are.
Right.
With friends, with their interests, with, things that they love, what they don't like, and it's just such a hard age. And I am sorry you're going through this, but
Okay.
you're gonna make it. I know you will. She's got you. You've got this.
That's okay. Thank you. And I expected to come on here level-headed and like say my piece, and then all of a sudden I started tearing up. So I'm sorry for that.
It's the emotion. It's because you care so much and the love. And when somebody you love is hurting, you hurt.
Yeah.
And the mother, that's the greatest love. So that in return can be the greatest hurt.
Sure. Well, I'm gonna step down before I make more of a fool of myself. So I'm sorry.
You have not made a fool of yourself.
Okay. Thank you. You guys are great. I love you so much.
Thank you so
Love
much
you.
for coming up here. Thank you. There's somebody on the panel named Blue Collar Man. Did you have something you wanted to say?
Yes, ma'am. I'm wanting to see if somebody tries to put a lawsuit on me, but yet they don't really have the stuff to do. I don't know why. So, but anyways, but I was about to say something to Cassandra, saying that I have ADHD too, but I deal with severe anxiety and stuff. And whenever my temper goes off, I try to walk away, but everybody tries to follow me, and I don't know why.
Well, one of the things that is good to do is to try to walk away and to take a deep breath. So that's a good skill that you try to do.
Yes, yes, ma'am. But I try to keep my temper cooled down till enough I get outside or get to a friend's house and stuff. So,
Yeah.
but
Counseling would also really, really probably help you with learning how to cope with some of these situations and find a healthy outlet for handling them.
all right.
Well, folks, we've reached 64,000 likes and we have 140 souls in the room. We're just really spending this Saturday night just talking to one another. We had Dr. Nadine Macaluso in here to talk about her new book, Run Like Hell, which I had to remove from pinning thanks to the TikTok flag. But you can find that in the TikTok shop. This has been one of these things that I write down in my I cannot believe that has happened is being able to interview someone like Dr. Nadine, and for her to share her book and her story was really an amazing feat for me. Just to put it into perspective, I don't know, this time last year, if you would have told me this time last year that I would be sitting here with y'all and that I would have an interview like that and that y'all would trust me enough to come in here and talk and trust me to come up on this panel and talk is crazy. How did I discover her? They discovered me. They sent me a message and said, can we do this thing? And I was like, me. So yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah. I'm not going to even think about that one. And in fact, the people who represent Dr. Nadine sent me a message today. And it said that I'm trying to figure out because they told me that I was charisma. I can't even say the word charismatic. I have the charisma and all of this awesome stuff. Charismatic. I can't even say it. But that they wanted to also represent me. And I was like, me? And they said, does anybody told you look like Nancy or remind me of Nancy Grace? And I said, I get that a few times. And then they sent text me back and said, well, we're going to try to get you hooked up with Nancy. I said, this is wild. What's happening right now? What's happening?
That is awesome.
So, listen, your life can change, and you won't even, don't give up in whatever you're doing, whether it's learning how to control your temper or getting away from a narcissistic relationship or just having a support system for people out there who want to be supported and to have that love is an amazing feat. Bombshell tonight. Pam. Pam said bombshell tonight. Maybe if this don't work out, you know what? I can just do Nancy Grace impersonations in Vegas.
This is going to work out. Look at how far you've came.
It will.
I'm going to let this feller down. He's probably done. Oh, my goodness. Thank you, Amy. Kristen, I see you in here. Kristen is sick, everybody. A wonderful voice. Oh, did true crime extraordinaire is sick. So please keep her in your prayers. Thank you, Krista. Everybody saying go vote. I'm on cheerchoiceawards.com. I'm cheerful. Yeah, you can vote once a day. I don't know how it's going. Do they have I heard they had leaderboards, but I couldn't find them. I was trying to look on every part of their website to say, where am I at? I think round 1 ends in 6 days. So if you can, please go vote. Thank you, Deb. Thank you so much. You can vote once per day. Thank you, guys. Well, I'm going to let you go just a little bit early tonight. It's been this crazy long week, and I'm going to go. I'm having the most horrible time with my knee. I've got a knee. I wore a knee brace. My husband, love him so much. He took the time to stop after work. I didn't know he was going to do it. And he went inside to Walmart and bought me a knee brace. And he brought it home after he worked all day. And I sat on the chair, and he put it on my knee. And it sure has helped. But I'm telling y'all something. I'm feeling like I tore something in my knee. Like I don't want to look. I'm putting into fruition that nothing is seriously wrong with my knee, but I cannot get up and downstairs. I cannot bend my knee. It's super duper painful. I don't know what I did. I'm almost 50 here, so obviously I'm going to have a bad knee. It is not. Here's the thing. It's not swollen, but I can't bend it back. And I can't. Yeah, I'm going to have to call the orthopedic. I've been dealing with it for a few weeks, thinking, what did I do? Did I twist it? Did I do something another to it? I've just been dealing with it. But I'm going to have to make an appointment. I've just been so busy. Maybe, but what did I do? Look at it wrong, just me? Did my knee wake up and say, we're near 50? It's time for me to kapow, hurt all the time? So I don't have time for this. So we got to, I'm having a serious knee issues. Greta says, I went through that not long ago, kept a lead with me around the clock, and it helped. Well, I don't have a leave, but I've been taking ibuprofen, which I'm not supposed to because I have stage 3 kidney disease. But I'm desperate. I have been desperate the last week, and I have taken ibuprofen. Yes, I have. I can't. Well, what am I supposed to take though, Greta? That's what I'm just like. You know what I mean? I'm not supposed to, but it's been hurting so bad. Yeah, I'm allowed to take Tylenol, but I don't have any in the house. But I am going tomorrow, leaving town. By the way, let me update you for everybody leaves. Tomorrow I'm leaving, going to Nashville with my best friend for the Mariah Carey concert. I bought these tickets 6 months ago. So knee or no knee, I'm going. Okay. You're going to have to row me in and row me out, but I'm going. And so I'll be live from Nashville Monday morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's right. We're going to have our own regular O show, but from Nashville. How fun. And I'll be back Tuesday morning. So I don't know if there's going to be a Tuesday show because we're leaving Tuesday morning from Nashville, coming back home. If I get here, if my knee's okay and everything's okay, then I'll go live, of course. But that may be a day where you may not see me live, Shireen. Yes, I will. Wild and sunny? I didn't even think about that, but yes, I will. I got good seats too. It's been 20-something years since I saw Mariah in concert. Deb says, try essential oils and rub on it. Google. That's what helps the knee pain. I will, Miss Deb. Me and Mariah Go back like baby's a pacifier. Oh, the dog, no liar. Keep your fantasy hot like fire. Jump, 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 jump. Dirt dog, no liar. What's up, Renee? No, I wish I was meeting her again. I wish I was. I wonder if she would remember me from 2003. How can she forget me? I'm the only person she met outside that night. As far as like, because it wasn't a fan group, it was just me and a couple other people. Oh my gosh. If I knew who to send a package to, I would send her a True Calm tea and a Steph Case Falls tea. Oh, Deb, I hate that you miss me. You're getting ready for family coming for Thanksgiving. Oh my gosh. Yes, Thanksgiving is next week, you guys. Thursday. So no show Thursday, but I'm probably going to have one on Friday. My daughter will have to go back to work, and I have used Voltaren. And I use that, Gwen, because Voltaren, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I use that because I have, the severe neuropathy. And they said that, they recommended that to help with that. But I also have osteoarthritis. All 48-year-olds do, but mine's really bad. So I'm really concerned that this might be an arthritic event happening in my knee. Oh, I know. We really do. I've never been a teacher. Sorry. Sorry. Totally not me. Wrong TikTok account. Oh no, Crystal Pistol, you have RA. Oh. You were in the hospital? It's very painful, isn't it? Okay, so Chastity, here's the thing, and I did Google that. Chastity says I had cartilage come loose in my knee and couldn't bend it back, and it wasn't so swollen. Somebody told me that cartilage may have become loose and it's wedged in there, and that's why I can't bend my knee back. I can bend it walking, but bending your knee back like you're doing the chicken, can't do it. Oh no, Laura, I'm so sorry, and I'm going to be keeping you in my thoughts. Physical pain is hard to deal with. Renee says I did that with my and had 3 or 4 removed. I do not. I have had to have surgeries over my lifetime for a multitude of things. I've had organs taken out. I've had things put in. I hate surgery. I hate dealing with it. So whatever is happening right now with my knee, I don't appreciate it. And I'm not going to have no surgery. I'm not dealing with it. I just want whatever has happened to heal so I can move on with my life.
Listen to me, though. It will not heal. If that's what happened, it won't heal. But I can tell you this. It is not, well, I mean, I can say for me, it was not a painful surgery. It's laparoscopic. I was up walking the same day. and and literally what happened, I don't know how it happened. I don't know. I actually had to have it done twice in the same year, literally. And on mine, what it is the cartilage on the back of my kneecap is fraying off. Yeah, I know. I know. So, that is possible, yes, that it's in there floating around and stuck. And honestly, the only way that they're going to be able to fix it is they're going to have to operate on it. But it's not, it's literally 2 little tiny incisions. And I didn't feel anything. Like when I woke up, I was up walking, you know, I couldn't like put all my weight on it. I had to be on crutches for a couple days, but just because I didn't want all my weight on it. But I was able to get up and walk and stuff. And I will tell you, it helped tremendously until it damn did again. And then when he went back in the second time, that's when he said, he's like, I'm not even touching anything else. He said, because it's fraying off. He said, so I'm supposed to have a knee replacement. And I told him to go sit down somewhere because I wasn't doing that. So now it hurts now, but it doesn't hurt bad like it did before.
It's got to the point that if I bend my knee at all, I'm screaming out in pain. I have it propped up on the back of my desk right now.
Yeah, I couldn't.
It's been the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I could not bend mine back at all.
That's me. I can't bend it back. And I thought that was so weird. I'm like, why can't I bend my knee back? And it's not swollen, so this is weirding me out.
Yeah, mine wasn't swollen either. I was just in excruciating pain and I couldn't figure it out. And I mean, I didn't go right away either. I waited until I couldn't take it anymore, and then I had to find out because it wasn't getting no better.
Renee says it sounds like you probably have a buccal tear and piece of the ligament, which is now between the joint. I agree.
Yeah,
it's
they'll
like
do an MRI. They'll figure it out.
I can tell you exactly
where
specifically where it is.
Yes. Specifically. Yes, it wasn't. That was the weird part because it wasn't my whole knee. Like, it's not like the whole knee hurt. I couldn't bend it back. And when I went in to show him, I told him I could specifically point to where I could feel it. And so they did the MRI, and that's what it was. It was cartilage that had come loose. But it doesn't.
That's probably me.
But believe me when I tell you, I was literally back to work within like 4 or 5 days. But I mean, I had to leave my house to go to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I was literally driving and everything else. So,
okay.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, Monday morning from Nashville, I'm going to call the orthopedic.
Yes, do that. Seriously.
And make an appointment and go. And hopefully they'll have something open Tuesday or Wednesday because I don't know how much more I can take.
Yeah.
And the thing is, what makes it torturous is that my son's home is a split level home. You know, the kind from the 70s that have 2 flights of stairs down to the basement where the other half of the house is.
That's how ours is right now that we moved into. When you come in the door, you got to go up the steps to get in the upper half and down the steps to get in the lower half.
Right. That's exactly how my son's is.
Yeah.
And so I have to, and our bedroom is the downstairs because that's where we live. We're in my son's house. We live in the basement. Okay.
Yeah.
So my survival every day is walking up 2 flights of stairs. If I forget something downstairs, it's back down, getting ready, coming upstairs to do the show, going back downstairs to feed the cats, up and down, up and down, up and down. And so that is really putting an aggravated twist in it because I'm having to turn sideways and step down the step with the weight on my right leg.
Yes.
This is not good, people.
No, it wasn't. And when mine went bad, I was taking care of Mom and I was lifting on her and everything. Like, it was, which then made the other knee go bad too. I hadn't went and messed with that one at all yet. Until I can't walk, I'm not getting cut open anymore. Because I've been cut on so many times.
Yeah, me too.
I know.
And I know I'll have to have, every 10 years, you have to have the battery changed and replaced in the thing in my back. So every 10 years, I'm going to have a major surgery.
Right.
I don't want to be adding any more onto the thing because I just got done with one a year ago. It was a year ago in September.
Right. I know. When I had the knee done, I had to have it done within 6 months of each other during COVID too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely get it checked. I mean, they're gonna X-ray it. They're gonna say, well, I can't see nothing on the X-ray, and then they're gonna do the MRI. So.
See, here's the thing about the ortho that I go to is they will do just that. They were X-ray, but they don't have an MRI machine. Should I just go to my family doctor? Because he'll order an MRI, which they have in the same building, and I'll just go get it.
Probably not. He's going to refer you to an ortho doctor.
They'd like the extra step so they can charge you more money.
Right. Now, you can go to a PCP. I mean, in Texas, you can go to a PCP. They'll order the MRI, but they'll have you a referral to an orthopedic doctor because your PCP can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you a funny story how I tore mine. I was in nursing. I was working at a pediatric office in Plano, Texas, and I lived in Richardson. I just came home to grab lunch, and my garage door opener on my what is it called? Your sun visor ran out of battery that day. So I had to punch the button, and I was real thin, punch the button and run underneath the door. Well, when I stepped down after punching the button, it tore right then. And I went back to work, finished my day. My knee was just swole up. I couldn't straighten my leg all the way because there was something impeding the process. And I'm like, I am afraid that I have probably got a buccal tear in my meniscus and they're going to have to take it out. And my husband at the time, he's like, oh, he goes, that's an easy peasy surgery. I said, I know it's an easy peasy surgery. I had it done. Best thing. I mean, honestly, I felt better the day it was done because you don't have that pinching pain in between that joint anymore. But what made it funny was I went to physical therapy that day, or the day after surgery. I'm sorry, the day after surgery. And there was like a 64-year-old woman, and I was in my late 30s. And she was over on the bed, got on, and I was like trying to milk it. You know, I'm like, oh my God, I can't ride this bicycle. You know, they had me on the bike. I'm like, I can't not ride this bicycle. They put this 64-year-old woman, she had surgery. My doctor did her surgery right after mine. And the physical therapy goes, Renee, she had her surgery, same doctor, after you. And she was up there riding like a champ. And I said, I'll be dead gum if I'm going to let an old lady freaking show me out. So I just started pedaling. And that was the best thing that ever happened. Once I got over the fear. I'm competitive. I'm like, I'm not going to let no old bag show me up.
Oh my gosh.
And now I'm the old bag. Oh, that was motivation, pure motivation.
I bet. Oh my God.
But it's not as bad as you think, Steph. It hurts. It hurts like a gnarly hell, excuse me, before it happens. Right. But after, I have 3 little tiny, maybe 1/8 of an inch scar. I have 3 of them around my knee. And
I had shoulder surgery. That's why I have an ortho. But they had to go in here, and there's a scar right there. You can see it. There's a few more, but they had to go in and remove calcified bone.
Mm-hmm.
My husband had that surgery.
Yeah.
Did they move your bicep too?
Well, they thought I had a torn rotator cuff.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't move my arm. I mean, I couldn't rotate it. I couldn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And they went in, and the tear on the cuff was small, but the bigger problem, they said, was moving. There's a dip in my shoulder right here where they had to remove that bone. When I'm like, well, how does that even happen? Calcified bone. What's that mean? One of my old dinosaurs or something?
Well, no, it just means us as individuals, we injure something, and sometimes we don't injure something and end up just growing calcifications on places that don't need calcified.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I mean that's honestly the truth.
Yeah.
You know, of the matter. Unfortunately, like rheumatoid arthritis, that's kind of that situation. It's the overgrowth of calcification into the joints of the arthritis.
Yeah.
And then your fingers go wackadoo, like my mom's. My mom's are wackadoo.
And see, that's what makes me scared about the knee is when that happened in my shoulder, I got frozen shoulder. I'm sure you've heard of that.
Oh,
that
yes.
sucks.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You don't get that in your knee, honey. You don't get that in your knee, honey.
Oh, well, thank God. I was thinking about that. I'm going to have frozen knee.
No.
Oh, no.
I'm telling
no.
you will feel 100% better when you wake up. Like it's amazing. Like,
I started
seriously.
running again after I did that because my knees. I played softball, surfed, did tomboy sports all the way. Was a ballerina, so I was really hard on my joints anyway. And after I had the 3/4 of my meniscus removed, I felt like a new woman. I was like, wow, it doesn't pop, it doesn't hiss, it doesn't slap back,
Right?
It doesn't do any of that stuff, and I love it. But my other knee is like crack, pop.
Oh, I know. Mine too. So
It like sputters as I walk.
Just me as a physical therapist, what she's saying is true. The shoulder surgery you had, yes.
That's a good one. I had a complete ankle reconstruction about 6 years ago. That I had my Achilles tendon torn and repaired 2014. 2018 is when I had my ankle reconstruction surgery. I completely tore every ligament in my ankle. I have an artificial ligament and a plate in my fibula because I broke my fibula at my knee. And I walked out of the skating rink. I walked home from the car, and I didn't even wince until my foot was like 6 foot in the air, being taken care of. And my husband comes home from work and he's like, okay, babe, get up. Come on, let's go to the hospital. Oh, I like took 3 steps and I'm like, oh no, I cannot get to the car. He's like, well, how the heck did you get home? I said, I drove myself. He goes, well, did they at least wheel you out of the roller skating rink? Well, hell no. He goes, woman, you've got the pain of an elephant. I mean, my God. He goes, and you're just not complaining about it, and this happened 7 hours ago? Like, yeah, no biggie.
Oh, my gosh.
I've had children.
Right? You're like,
I know, right?
Yeah, they had to break my pelvis to get the first one out because I was like, just take it out.
My
No
first
forceps,
one?
no flexion, just pull her out.
My
Her shoulders
first
got
one?
stuck.
Yeah. No. Oh my gosh. No. I had enough trouble with my first one. Okay? You get an epidural.
I didn't.
Those didn't work for me.
Well, I have to get one because I can't deal with it. But the guy who done that, they couldn't find him in the hospital, so my epidural wore off. He like left or something, and he was the only one. And so I did. Then it passed a point where they could do another one. And then
Isn't
they
that
had
fun?
to do the episiotomy.
Yep.
Isn't that fun?
Oh, it's wonderful.
Oh
They
man,
gave
I
me
thought it was
3.
great.
They gave me 3 epidurals and none of them took. And they're like, we
I
can't
didn't
give
have
you
not a
any more.
one.
We don't even know where it's going. Like nothing became numb. Nothing.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I'm like,
It went
okay,
to your
well, I'm
brain. It went to your brain,
done.
girlfriend.
Something, right? Seriously.
Oh my god, that was the I swore to never have children again. I was like, oh god, no, I'm not ever having no more.
I only did it once.
And mine
I'm
were
smart.
big. Anastasia, she was 8 pounds 6 ounces, and my second one, Mackenzie, she was. Oh good God, I'm gonna forget now. 8 pounds 6 ounces, 8 pound 9 ounces. Kenzie was 8 pound 9 ounces.
Both of mine were exactly 7 pounds.
God, you
And
people
with
that have
both of-
these small babies, I'm just envious.
Yeah.
And with both of mine, I didn't gain 1 pound. I lost 20 pounds overall with both of my pregnancies.
Oh well, my gosh, you go,
Yeah.
girl.
I only gained 12 pounds. I lost more weight because I was sick the whole damn time.
With my first one, I was sick 4 months. I lost 30 pounds, but I made up for it with the double
the end?
size frozen Snicker bars a day and a Dutch oven of Mima's cabbage and carrots every day. I got up to 161 pounds. With Mackenzie, I was like 130 pounds, which is ideal weight for me. I got up to be 161 pounds with her as well, but I ate healthy with her, and she was the bigger baby. But
It don't make no damn sense.
it went fast. It went fast.
I weighed
And
6
it came
pounds
out with
when I
lots of
was
hair.
born.
So
6.
did I. I weighed like 6 pounds 7 ounces.
And I'm like, why couldn't the theme stick?
Right?
Right?
I mean, my oldest daughter, she has all these babies like in the 5 pound, 6 pound range. I'm like, well, they're falling out of you. Shoot, they had to pull you out of me. And then Mackenzie over here, she had an over 9 pounder, my granddaughter, and I'm like, golly gee willikers. And then Rain, my youngest granddaughter, which is my oldest daughter's last child, she was like holding on to the umbilical cord, like, I'm not coming out. I'm not coming out. I don't care what you do. I'm not coming out.
You wasn't done cooking.
She was not wanting to come out. JL was almost born in my car, and that was the first one. And I'm like, good Lord. She goes, Mom, I can feel the hair. I'm like, okay, I'm on the phone 911.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
All the lights. I mean, it was late at night anyway, and I was on 380, and I'm like, hold all the lights. We'll just pull over and we'll get you an ambulance. It's going to take too long. Just let me just go. And
Oh my gosh.
I got her there. It was a hot mess. It was tragic, but yeah, surgeries really suck. They really do. They want to do back surgery on me, and I'm just like, oh no, if I can't walk, then we'll talk.
That's the worst.
Right.
When they put the implant in, they had to cut right down my spine.
Oh God.
I don't trust. See, I don't trust. I'm a nurse. I've seen oopsies happen. I don't want that oopsie.
Well, I'm going to hop
It's
off
about
here
dinner-
for the
it's
night.
about bedtime.
Yeah, I'm going to take my Ambien and go over to Chastity's because she's going to go live. I'm just kidding.
Oh, are you gonna Aussie out over there?
Do you know that I was?
That's what my kids call me, is Aussie. They're like,
Oh my
Mother, you sound like
gosh.
Aussie.
We talked her into going to
on.
live last night.
Yes, and we were on until after 2 o'clock, and I had took that damn sleeping pill, and I fought through it, and I got mean. I got with the girls. They're like, "Oh no,
my God.
there was
You know
mean
they
mamas
only have a
coming
shelf
out."
life of 2 hours. The Ambiens do.
Well, I take something else, but
Oh, yeah.
the girls were like, "Oh my God!" They're like, "The mean mama's coming out. We got to go to bed."
Oh Lord.
I take Ambien because there's nothing more fun than being woken up in the middle of the night by your progressive nerve disease, shocking the hay bale out of you. So
Oh God.
I was staying up 2 and 3 days at a time because the shocks were so much. Of course, now it's better now with my implant, but otherwise my mind won't stop. And then you start thinking about the pain. And then next thing you know, it's the next day, and you're like, if your body's not at peace, and then not being able to sleep because of the pain makes the pain worse.
Right.
Yep.
Do you twitch
And my doctor
real bad?
said, "Huh?
Do you twitch real bad?
Yes,
Twitch. Oh my
I
gosh.
do."
My husband goes, honey, you twitch so bad, you get me in the kidneys. And I'm like, I don't mean to. It's a reflex that I cannot control, especially when I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and so my life changed for the better when I got on. I'm not trying to promote the Ambien or nothing. I am not a paid sponsor.
Oh no, I am an Ambien taker. I understand.
If you suffer from something like that, or even if it's you can't shut your mind off at night because you're worried about everybody and everything, that's just a safer way. I'd rather do that than drink all the NyQuil, that old nasty crap.
ADHD mind constantly going is horrible too. My gosh, you think of everything.
Your body needs sleep. It
does.
repairs itself. You got to sleep. It's important. But anyway, it takes a minute, so I'll be around the ticker talker if anybody's hanging out. I have such a positive adrenaline rush from this show and spending time with y'all that it takes me a minute to unwind when I get off the ticker talker, just to sit around and I check my email or maybe answer a message or two, because I'm just like, that's so great. I had a great time and we talked about everything. It's so great. And I want to do it. And I never want to stop. So
Well, it was a really good show tonight.
Oh, I missed most of it.
it'll be on the big YT.
Oh, I'll go watch it in the morning before your show. Oh no, you're not going to be on tomorrow.
Yep, tomorrow I'll be traveling. Yeah, it's Sunday. I'll be traveling to Nashville, but I'll be live from my hotel room in Nashville Monday morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll have our normal live, and I appreciate you all, and I love you each and every one very much.
And we love you to pieces.
We love you too.
Please know that you can follow me on any social media platform. All you have to do is follow the same username and logo. I am on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram, and an app called Scoops with a Z. I'll see you Monday morning.
Alrighty.
All right. Bye,
Have a blessed weekend. Bye.